from being benched to now playing in Super Bowl 50. Skip, how surprised are you by Peyton's run?
Molly, Stephen A., I'm not surprised, but I was pretty consistent down the stretch when I said again and again, I thought Denver's only shot of getting to the Super Bowl was going back to, I was hoping at that point for his sake, a healthy Peyton Manning. And I said Friday on the show, I was shocked at all the naysayers who were dismissing Peyton Manning as a washed-up backup who had lost most, if not all, of his velocity. Because against against Pittsburgh the previous week, I thought Peyton threw it about as hard as I've ever seen him throw it because he never had much velocity to begin with. I didn't see much velocity when he was a rookie in Indy. So how much did he lose? I don't know, maybe a little, but definitely not a lot. And yesterday, he had a little mustard on some of those throws. I said Friday, I feared he would play very well against my Patriots, and I thought he played very well because his best stat was that big 0 he put up in both the playoff games, 0 interceptions, 0 turnovers. So to me, Gary Kubiak deserves more credit than we're giving him because he made a gutsy Super Bowl or bust move when, remember the regular season finale at home, San Diego? They're down in the third quarter, 7:28 left in the third. And I didn't know but what he was going against sort of the executive orders of we're going with Brock Osweiler here, Super Bowl or bust. And remember, he yanked Osweiler and put Peyton in a game that they were losing 13-7. And Peyton led them back to a 27-20 regular season finale win that cinched home field advantage. I think it won the game for them yesterday. And then his errorless play against Pittsburgh and then against New England was tantamount to them getting to a Super Bowl because clearly he's not going to throw for 400, but if he throws for 200 plus and they can run for 100, they had 99 yesterday, and you can play defense the way they played yesterday, I think that's a pretty good formula for success, and I do not expect them to get routed in the Super Bowl with Peyton Manning at quarterback. Again, is he what he used to be? No. Is he better than Brock Osweiler right here, right now? You better believe he is. And again, I thought especially in the first half yesterday, he played extraordinarily well for an almost 40-year-old quarterback.
Well, first of all, let's pump the brakes just a little bit. Saying that he's better than Brock Osweiler, well, I mean, what do you want, a cookie? I mean, is that the litmus test for Peyton Manning now? He's better than Brock. The fact that we are literally putting Brock Osweiler in a sentence regarding Peyton Manning says all that we need to say about how he must have descended to some degree. Peyton Manning is still a guy that is a quality quarterback. He's got a brilliant mind. His football IQ is high. He does things on the football field in terms of audibling, picking up blitzes, changing plays, etc., where he facilitates not just a better passing game, but a better running game. So we understand that from a mindset perspective, his brilliance cannot be questioned. But physically, even though he's capable of doing in spots, in increments, what he used to be capable of doing, the consistency with which we once saw him do these things is no longer prevalent. The guy was 17 of 32 for 176 yards, sacked 3 times. He didn't blow the game. He did a good job. But for about after starting off strong, marching him downfield in that first drive, he basically won 3 quarters without doing much. He didn't hurt you. He prevented you from hurting yourself, but he wasn't lights out by any stretch of the imagination. So let's understand something here. Unless Denver's defense is capable of rattling Cam Newton and the crew in Carolina, Peyton Manning's going to need to play better than this to beat the Carolina Panthers.
I'll buy that.
He's going to need to play better than this to beat the Carolina Panthers. He's going to need to play better than this to ensure they don't get blown out, okay? Because I think Carolina's defense is going to have something to say about the outcome. And remember, Kuechly and these boys, they ain't just intercepting passes. They're turning it into points. They're turning it into points. They're pick sixes that Luke Kuechly has put it forth. You remember, back-to-back weeks he's done so. So I'm looking at it from that perspective. And him and Thomas Davis, again, Thomas Davis got the broken arm now, even though he swears he's going to play regardless of the situation. But having to deal with all of that is a big, big deal because they can turn any potential mistakes into points real quick, fast, and in a hurry. So all I'm trying to say is that this notion that people have sat up there and said, I just marvel. I'm listening to sports talk radio. I'm reading the newspapers. I'm hearing everybody talking. Everybody act like we said Peyton Manning's some scrub. Nobody said that. What we're saying is that you're older, attrition has kicked in, physically speaking, with the back surgeries and the plantar fascia and beyond. You're not what you used to be health-wise. I don't care how old or young you are. If you're inhibited physically, you're inhibited physically. There's no criming that. It amazes. See, this is how I know what the narrative of the Super Bowl is going to be. See, Cam Newton is officially the villain. When you mark it down, in the days to come, listen to me, in the days to come, and we'll talk about this later on, but in the days to come leading up to the Super Bowl, how much you want to make a bet that Cam Newton's going to be that villain? Because we got to see Peyton Manning end his career on a high note. I mean, we just got to see it. We got to see Peyton Manning win that Super Bowl and then go off into the sunset. He's a champion now. His last game, ever in the NFL, he's a Super Bowl champion. Just the same way Elway did it. Just the same way Jerome Bettis did it. He's going to do it too. Oh, that's a storyline. And Cam Newton is that guy that's standing in the way of the perfect storybook ending. We can see it now. Oh, it's coming right now. Because now, and you set it up beautifully because everybody wants to walk around like Peyton Manning has been villainized. No, we're just simply saying, you've been great. You're phenomenal. The measuring stick is your own greatness. We've seen you put on display since right before the turn of the century. We have grown accustomed to seeing your greatness. So we know when it's not there anymore. Because Peyton Manning, remember, Skip, just 2 years ago, Peyton Manning, same AFC Championship game, threw for 400 yards. 400 yards. Less yesterday. 176. He throws an 8-yard pass. Look at the zip on that pass. You go, Peyton. You go. Look at how hard he threw that football.
Whoa.
Whatever.
But you can't have it both ways.
What?
On Friday, I brought it up. Nobody gave him a chance against Tom Brady. Nobody.
Right.
I mean, nobody.
You wanted to, but it was Tom.
I wanted to because he's not that bad.
Right.
He's not like Steve Young called him on 6 o'clock Sports Center on Thursday night. He's half of what he used to be. Again, I love Steve Young, but I don't think he's half of what he used to be.
I think so.
Half?
I think, you know what? You know why I think he's half of what he used to be?
Why?
Because he was that great. He was that great. It's not that he's half of what he used to be, but he's Jay Cutler and he's half of what he used to be. No. Half of what he used to be is still better than Jay Cutler. Half of what he used to be is still better than 80% of the quarterbacks in the NFL. It's just that this is Peyton Manning. It's like, listen, Michael Jordan to me was half of what he used to be when he was a Wizard. He still averaged 19 a game.
20 and 6, I believe it was.
20 and 6 to be exact. So what I'm saying to you is that, look, you're measuring him against his own greatness. It's not an insult. It's not to say that he's half of what he used to be. It's not like Steve Young went out there. Steve Young is a Hall of Fame quarterback and a Super Bowl champion. He's not looking at Peyton Manning and saying he can't play. He's saying he's half of what he used to be because he knows how great he once was. So we're sitting and think about this. Pump the brakes. We are sitting here and making a big deal if Peyton Manning throws a 12-yard pass with velocity. That's where we are.
No, I make a big deal out of it because he does throw with velocity more than anybody gives him credit for.
But what I'm saying to you, Skip, I got news for you. Peyton Manning should be applauded for the performance that he put forth yesterday because he made no mistakes.
Sure.
And as a result, that assisted in them winning. But we all know why they won yesterday. That defense is why they won yesterday. Well, that heat that they put on Tom Brady is why they won yesterday. It wasn't because of Peyton Manning that they won yesterday. He's a part of it, but he ain't the reason that they won yesterday.
He did throw 2 touchdown passes.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did to Owen Daniels, who was sitting there spying. You know, he had a defender on him. I think it was Collins, I'm not sure, who had a defender spying in the backfield and looking at the running backs and forgot to make sure you defend him. All right, so Aaron Daniels stuck behind and caught a couple of touchdown passes. But that's about it. All I'm saying to you is the defense of the Denver Broncos is the reason they won yesterday.
Okay, I think you have the storyline for the upcoming Super Bowl upside down. I think you have it upside down.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I believe that most people are going to fear for Peyton getting embarrassed in this Super Bowl. That will be the storyline.
That's fair.
That most people will think this has 43-8 written all over it.
Okay.
Right?
No. That's fair. I'll give you that. But what I'm saying is, we're not diametrically opposed there. I agree with you. But what I'm saying saying to you is that whether it's the plot or the subplot, whichever one you want to put first or second, they're going like this. Oh, look at Peyton Manning. This is the last game. Well, when you mark my words, somehow, some way, so you mark it down, somehow, some way, Cam Newton is going to be a villain. Don't get in the way of Peyton in the perfect ending now. This is a storybook ending. You know what? How can you look at the illustrious career? Because we can't have Peyton Manning losing 3 Super Bowls in a row.
Okay,
can't have that.
But you have to think he's capable of pulling off the storybook.
Losing to New Orleans, throwing the interception to Tracy Porter, losing to Seattle, getting ramrodded, and then you're going up against Cam. Oh, Cam will have his time. Yeah, we appreciate the Superman. Oh, we can't. Oh, by the way, we can't stand this. Why does he have to do that? And oh, by the way, Mike was talking this morning about you're giving the football to the kid. What about the people in the second decade? Trust me.
But I don't know who that is.
Neither do I.
Who's saying that?
Neither do I.
2 people on Twitter? Is that what? Somebody that they read on Twitter?
You can't do that. I mean,
well, I don't know.
I'm just saying we don't know. But the point that I'm trying to make to you is this. Well, I do talk radio, and I'm telling you right now, there are people who call in that have problems with Cam. Yeah. You mark it down. I'm looking right in the camera. Remember I said this. Watch the next 2 weeks. Now, we going to have folks that's going to sit there, people like me, that ain't going to apologize. I think Cam going to put on a show, and I'm looking forward to it. And
you don't need to apologize
But I promise you, there's going to be a whole bunch of people. Oh, look at Peyton, man. Look at him zip. Did you see him throw that 12-yard pass? I mean, come on. He can do it. He can. Come on, Peyton. I promise you, most of the nation going to be looking for him, and you're going to find every little thing to complain about with Cam because you're not you. But they're not going to want him to win because it will get in the way of the storybook. And he made Brady, it'll be up. People envious and jealous of Peyton, resentful to some degree of Cam. But in Peyton Manning, talk first family, the Manning family, Peyton Manning class personified.
Super Bowl 50.
Play Super Bowl 50. Are you kidding me? Cam, don't you get in the way of this. Oh, they're going to find every storyline imaginable to make sure when you mark it, I'll bet my check Cam Newton's the villain over the next 2 weeks. I bet you. I bet you.
At the end of that game that I watched last night, after I watched what that defense did to Carson Palmer, the regular season QBR runaway winner, that defense that is running away with turnover after turnover, I tweeted, I'm paraphrasing my own tweet, but something like, Peyton, I feel sorry for you, to the tune of the Nationwide jingle, don't open that cellar door. Remember when he says that? That's what, I don't want him to open that cellar door because I'm afraid what's going to come through it, right?
And I'm saying to you, being afraid of what's going to happen is entirely different than rooting for something to happen. And I'm telling you, Cam Newton is going to be the villain, and most of America.
Most of America?
I said it. That's right. I didn't stutter. Most of America is going to be rooting for the fairy tale ending for Peyton. We can't have Peyton Manning lose the 3rd consecutive Super Bowl. We can't have that. He ain't Jim Kelly. He ain't Fran
capable. He's not capable of it. Most people, they'd already written him off before last game.
I'm trying to tell you, I said rooting. Operative word is rooting. Most of the nation is going to be rooting for Peyton. Cam can wait his turn. He's younger. The biggest discrepancy in age between one quarterback to the other. He can wait his turn. This is his first time. He just got here. Let him wait. Come on, Peyton. Watch. You watch. That's the storyline. The storyline is right there for you. I just gave the newspapers, the media, everybody, the headlines for the next 2 weeks. Every little thing.
That's your storyline.
I want to know your fairy tale ending. We don't have time right now, but that's what I want to know.
Let Cam Newton get a damn parking ticket. They're going to make that front page. Anything to come down on Cam so Peyton can win. You mark it down. You mark it down. Ain't going to work. But you mark it down. That's what they're going to be wishing for.
So we're not going to hear about any Al Jazeera this week. You don't think that's going to come up? I don't know.
Let me tell you something right now.
I know they're defunct now, but
it'll be ignored. Don't you dare touch Peyton. By the way, Al Jazeera, what happened to them?
They're gone.
Ain't they going out of business?
Yes, they went out of business.
Because they mess with Peyton. Get out of here. Get out of here. Out of business. Out of business. How could you mess with Peyton Manning? What? He got rid of a network. That's it. He got rid of a network. That's what he did. He got rid of a network. It's the truth. Yeah, he did. Al Jazeera. What? Please, who are they? Peyton Manning got rid of them.
NFL is king.
They said something about Peyton Manning? No. Not NFL, Peyton Manning. They said something about Peyton Manning. Now they're going out of business.
This next subject, I heard from you first on Friday on NBA Countdown. These guys called it last week.